excited. Look at this group. I was joking earlier, but honestly, I was really like, okay, maybe it'll be like my wedding and only 2 people will show up. But this is so awesome and people keep coming in. I love this. I love all of this energy. So one of the things is start off with who I am. I'm Cass VanGelder. So if you could all just stand up for a moment, even those of you who are online, and tell me your names, please, on the 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Got it. Good. Thank you. Thank you. I am super excited about this. Let me tell you a little bit about me because I feel like some of you know me, but don't really know me. So we'll just go and talk about some of the things that are things that I usually reveal in 2 truths and a lie. So now some of you will be able to win at this game when it comes to me. Okay, so I have owned my own technical writing and editing graphic design company. That's sort of boring, whatever. Worked and coached in Agile settings for multiple decades. That's right, multiple decades. And then, weird thing, I sang with the San Francisco Opera. Aha, now you're like, no, that's got to be the lie, right? No, none of these are. I've actually worked with Second City Comedy Troupe. Has anyone heard of Second City? Have you heard of Saturday Night Live? Oh, you make me sad. Yeah, Saturday Night Live, back when it was good. This is the company that would, the troupe that would feed people into that. So I got really lucky and got to work with Jason Sudeikis, who is with Ted Lasso. He apparently made different career choices than me. So, but I'm happier. So anyway, I have studied music and theater and nonprofit management, law, psychology. I've also worked with like nurses, all kinds of different people in dealing with Agile. I have worked throughout the USA. I often get this. Everyone wants to know where I'm from the USA. And someone gave me a lovely compliment earlier. She came up and started speaking Dutch to me. My last name is not my own, but my husband's. So, you know, there's that. No, I'm actually a rarity for all of you. I am one of the few Native American, and I don't mean people who are just born in America, but I'm actually an Indian, American Indian. So that in Austria, haha, you had that on your bingo card, you just won. So we're all good there. But yes, I have worked all over in Nashville, San Francisco, Las Vegas, and in New York. And this is the weird one. Not that the others weren't. I was the first foreign-born person to design lottery tickets for mainland China. I know. Oh, I know, right? That goes over so well with so many people. Mostly this is for my mother. She's very happy about this part. But like with any of us, the longer the description is, the less it means anything. It's like the vice president for oblong mirrors in an outer part of Bregance on the 3rd floor. That doesn't really mean anything, right? And the last thing is, I have 2 favorite words, karaoke and funicular. These are my 2 words. I love funiculars. I hate that the US does not have more of them. I mean, how can you not? It has fun right in the name, right? Come on. And you all have a funicular here in Graz. Oh, so excited. I also hear you have karaoke, which I'm hoping to try out. Okay, so these are things that are just kind of letting you know who I am and where I come from and all that. So let's get on to the really interesting thing. This is where we started everything with the product owners. We actually started with the Scrum Masters because in our company, and maybe this is true for yours, there's sort of an imbalance between the Scrum Masters and the product owners, right? So we really wanted to beef up our Scrum Masters, and we started looking at the Agile Coach Growth Wheel. And you can see some really nice things here. This was originally created by Lisa Atkins and Michael Spade. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Her name I know because I've actually met her, but his, okay, sure. That looks like Spade. What we found is that this didn't really resonate with a lot of people in this current form. It was hard for people to remember things that were off that. So we changed it just a little bit. And we changed it to this. So we added some icons, we added some colors, and we added some things to bring out things that made sense. Like the knowing yourself is this whole section here, and knowing the team, knowing the business, knowing the organization. Now, really, we haven't changed anything. This is still their material that they came out with. This is just something we sort of enhanced. Ooh, I love all the cameras coming out for this. Yes, absolutely, not a problem. Take a photo, have no problem with that. This was super helpful for us to apply because we created a Scrum Master Learning Journey that was internal. So we wanted to show how what we created for classes, which we have 5 months of a program. So we wanted to make sure that it all applied to the growth wheel. So this is what, go ahead, are you finished? Are you okay? I keep seeing that, okay. So this was one of our ones that we did back in, that we just started. This is wave 7. We've been lucky enough now that at the end of this, our original goal was just to get 50 people through this. We will now have passed 120 people that will have gone to this program that we've trained internally. And we've saved amazing amounts of money by using the knowledge we already have. So here's how we applied it. If you look, we have the Agile Coach Growth Wheel with all this, and each one of them shows them different areas that it applies, so they easily know how they're growing. This is phenomenal for Scrum Masters. It's even great for Agile coaches. But now we've got a different kind of imbalance. Now the Scrum Masters are getting all this training, they're getting all this focus, and the product owners are like, no, we're fine. We're totally fine. Why are you not helping us? Right? So we decided we would go and we'd help them out. And so we're going to create something for them. The first thing I do is I go out looking for something. Maybe it already exists, much like this one, right? This is what we found. And if you go out there today, you will probably still only find things that are for project management. Piss boo. Kidding. If some of you are project managers, we love you. But we found pretty much nothing. So it's like, okay, well, we don't want to start from nothing. And I love the idea of linking knowledge to what already exists because it's so easy for people. So lots of product owners already knew our wheel. So we thought, okay, let's start from there. Okay, so we're going to start from here. The first thing is we've got to let go of these icons, right? Because they don't mean really anything to the product owners because we're going to be changing some of the stuff, right? We're like, okay, well, what does still work? We'll start with what doesn't work. The coaching part doesn't really work because the product owners don't really do any coaching. And then it's like, okay, then this creating, guiding the team dynamics, that's really Scrum Master stuff. That's not going to work either. Facilitating, no. Facilitating, no. Serving the product owner. Okay, so that's gone. So now we're like, okay, well, these things don't make sense either. So now, okay, now we have a bunch of colors. Awesome. What we really have is just a circle, and we really don't want to use the colors again, particularly in the same company, because it's going to be confusing when they see it on the page. Well, which one is mine? Which one is yours, right? So really, this is what we're left with. Awesome. Great place to start. So we decided to start just with a circle. Ooh. I know, right? We started with talking with product owners who are currently at RBI. And I'm cautioning before I show you this because that's who we talked to. We didn't talk to the vast number of people who are product owners currently in other companies. Just know this was based off of what our experience is and also the Agile coaches who are there at RBI. And you're all like, just show it to us already. Okay, yes, this is what we came up with. And if you look here, we have 5 segments that we really focus on. I knew it. All the cameras came out. Yes. So the 5 segments we really wanted to lean into at our company: leadership, development, product strategy, operations and execution, and customer insights. Okay. So at this point, I want to ask, what questions do we have? Oh, I got to quit doing that motion because it makes it sound like, no, I don't want your questions. No, I do want your questions. What questions do we have at this point? Yes.
You use that at RBE, mostly for internal products because they're making Cashpresso and so on. So mostly this is for a product owner that's serving the company with products for the main business. So the main banking business.
That has been a question that we've been asked quite a bit. We may go back and tweak it a little bit. And certainly this is someplace to at least start with if you're interested in creating something for your own company. Yeah, there's some things in there that may or may not work, but we tried to be as general as we could to answer both the internal and the external.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Yes, I have got a question here.
I wondered, the wheel that you kind of deleted, there was know your business, there was know your organization, and it seems very relevant points to me for the product owner as well, because you deleted them.
We did, because we wanted to go in just a little bit of a different direction. This is a first full draft of this. This is our first attempt at this, and we are well aware that things change. They are going to sort of evolve as we kind of figure this out and we get more information. So what other questions we have? Okay, so at this point, I am all about the 7 seconds of silence. I don't know if you've heard this, but I use this all the time, which is 7 seconds of silence, I'm moving on, because either everybody agrees or they just have no questions. So 7 seconds of silence. Unlike my colleague who goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 7, we're good, let's keep going. I kind of like to have the pause there. Okay, so this is, we've focused here on the development where it's like the feature testing, the release planning, roadmap, reference management, validation and refinement, and backlog management. Again, we're trying to keep this as generic as we can and yet be meaningful. Thought leadership, stakeholder management, influence in politics, negotiating, decision-making, motivation, and feedback. There is a little bit of that where we're wanting to have the product owners have more ownership of that. So often they kind of lean into the Scrum Masters to just do this. And then we have the customer segmentation, market competitor, the voice, the feedback, customer pain and value, the personas, pain and value, goals, again, all about the customer insights. Operations is on cost management, service management, vendor management, lots of management, and IT operations, and then product strategy, product definition, marketing enablement, target markets, business model and goals, and prioritization and roadmap. So this is kind of where we went with this. Now we're looking at how we can use this even more and make it even better. We are now looking at how can we use this with our product owners to give them the real growth, the tool to create their own growth. So this can be a little bit tricky, and this is where I caution people about this, is that so often we put these things in front of people and it becomes a tool to punish or to make them feel bad because they're not this wonderful thing. Or they're not as well-rounded. With product owners in particular, we have found that you can't necessarily have every single thing that's on this wheel. It just doesn't make sense. So currently what we're working with is this sort of tool that would be the main 5 that we talked about, and that the product owners would then use it to create a path for themselves. This would not be for management. This would not be for here, I'll get out of your way, sorry. This would be for the person themselves to really figure out, to plot out, what do they want to do? How do they want to grow? What does it mean to them to be in that role? And what will it mean for them in the future? Okay, I'm awesome that you're all taking pictures. That's so awesome. Okay, so what questions do we have at this point? Yes, another question. Awesome.
My question is, you have quite different topics here on the wheel.
Yes.
How do you manage it within the RB that you give the product owner the possibility to grow into this role? Because operation is a lot different than going in the product strategy. That means, in my thing, is you have to do a training on the job. You have to be in the operations team. You have to see, okay, that's the demand and so on. Or is there a plan within the RB for the product owner?
Currently, we're working with the product owner community of practice that we have at RBI, and helping to sort of come up with pilots of how to put this into play. This is just one way that we thought of potentially using it so that people could plot their own growth, plot their own path. We have just started it, really. We're still in a lot of the piloting phases of it. So hopefully I can come back in another year and I can tell you what we did then and how that turned out. I saw a hand here. Yes.
Are you planning on specializing on specific product owner roles? For example, UI, UX product owners who are more focused on the customer insights and user experience?
That would be a personal thing for them.
Mhm.
A lot of these ideas also came from IC Agile and the way they originally had their roadmap for the Agile coaches and for other roles, in that you could make choices. You didn't have to select everything. You just had to make some choices about it and then create things or take things or learn things that would get you to go further in that. And that is one of the ways we're using the Scrum Master one, is that we're now creating a Scrum Master catalog where we say, okay, if you're lacking or you want to lean in, I hate to say lacking, you want to lean into knowledge you already have or that you want to be even better, then we would have a list of different things that you could then either watch, read, go take a class or whatever, because so often we give them the tool and then we're like, good luck. It's like, okay, I need this, but I don't know what fits it. Okay, well, here's some samples of some things that fit it. So what we're hoping is that in the future, we'll be able to create something also for the product owners so that it would be much easier for them to go out and kind of find these things either through our internal HR system, through videos. Udemy is a good one, Pluralsight. I know I'm plugging you guys. Sorry, maybe that means I get a free month. Who knows? But you know, it's some of those things like that. What other questions do we have? Yes. So often I'm used to saying yes and immediately getting a response. This little bit of a delay is totally throwing me off.
Puts a lot of pressure, this microphone, I have to say. Yes, the question. So for this to even have a chance, we need a prerequisite to a specific person that the product owner is, for him to have courage and say, yes, I feel comfortable talking about my weaknesses.
Yeah.
My question, how do you deal with product owners that do not have that courage?
Wow, that's a much bigger question than I expected. First, I'm going to flip us back over to the actual wheel. Oh, sorry. That's just me in 20 years. So we'll go back to the wheel. That's a very difficult thing. That does hopefully come from a lot of our coaches, that we can create safe spaces for them to have those conversations around the things that work for them, the things that don't. I think one of the things that was really super helpful for me was we actually went through Red Bull, and I think there's somebody here that used to work at Red Bull. Let's see, was it you? I think, awesome. I love Red Bull. I was addicted to Red Bull. I now go to meetings. Okay. They did this whole concept of, yes, you would answer these questions, but then you would lean into the things you're really good at, rather than focusing solely on the things that where you're lacking or where you're not as good as someone else. And I don't like that at all. I prefer to have it where someone gets super interested in something and they go even further with it, because it can be super inspiring for everyone else. Creating that atmosphere, creating that safety is something I think that we should all be setting up. You know, we should all be creating a situation where all of us feel that we are open to fail. And I think you mentioned, you and Vivian, I'm sorry, I'm just pointing to her like everybody knows her, and why shouldn't they? Juana did her speech yesterday with Vivian, and they talked about this whole thing about the creating safety. So you could talk about the failures and it'd be okay. Because one of the things we talk about is you don't fail, you succeed or you learn. That's it. You succeed or you learn, period. And then it makes it a little more digestible. So we're still in that process. We know people have pride around, always being perfect, or, just I'm winning all the time, the whole Charlie Sheen thing. No, we're still working on that. And I think we all are to some degree. Thank you.
We have a question from the remote audience.
Awesome.
Which is, do the colored levels in the areas have a special meaning, like importance, for example?
They are all assigned to my astrological signs. No, I'm kidding. No, they have nothing. They're just the original ones were just following the color palette, the general color palette. People who do design will see that it basically went from the basic ones, the blue, the red, and all that, and just kind of went around and did that. This was a little bit different. We sort of used that so that it would smoothly go around, but we wanted it instantly identifiable, that it was different from the Scrum Master Growth Wheel. Thank you. Oh, and I have to do a shout out just in case. Helmut, if you are online with your lovely class of 15-year-olds, awesome, right? He's teaching 15-year-olds about Agile. You're doing God's work. That's all I'm saying. That is awesome. Getting them young, teaching them right. Love that. What other questions do we have? Yes.
I have one. Hi. My question is, a couple slides before you showed us the roadmap, or like the training plan for Scrum Masters, like over 4 to 4 months. Yeah. No, just I'm curious, if I look at this wheel here, like IT operations and everything there. So how did you build up these trainings? Was this internal or external? So what's behind every type of it? Like, because I'm just think, okay, cool, it looks great, and I would like to set it up in my company. So is this a cooperation with the Agile coaches, and how to start and where to start? This is my main question here.
That is a totally different thing than we came in here to talk about, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, the way we came up with this was back in 2019. We figured out that the Agile coaches were spread too thin, and we weren't able to meet as many needs for Scrum Masters. So we decided to do a lot of bring in everything that we thought was important for everybody to learn, that were basics. And it grew from there. This is the 7th one, I believe. And it's grown into one that this has become more advanced here. Some of these things are changing in the next wave, but we've also split it off to where we have our network units, where they have a shorter one that gets them almost like a quick start, within a 3-month sort of, I apologize, I have allergies and just goes nuts with my eyes. I'm not flirting, I swear. But yeah, that's kind of where we started. And in fact, this has changed quite a bit. We did start with very basic sort of things, some facilitation, how to create a retro kind of thing. And then we realized that we needed some more hardcore things. So we do go with some very basic things here. We've added this training from the back of the room because we found that a lot of them didn't know how to facilitate or train. And it would be great for our Scrum Masters to know how to train their own teams in these basic things. So we added that. And then we had a lot around communication. And this leadership with horses is super popular because they do actually go out with the horses and work with them. I got to do it in wave 2, not as a Scrum Master, but I did get to do it And I was really surprised because she's like a gypsy soothsayer when it comes to people. And she's like, you're fantastic with people until you get to level 4 and you have to really like push them and then you back off. And it's like, oh, it's like I'm talking to my mom. Oh my gosh. It's awesome. And it's a super popular program. And we also include things like Jira. We've got people that come in and work with them intensely with Jira, and then impact mapping. And then what we used to do as a book club evolved instead into a student teaching day. So we'd have 2 half days where they have to get up as a group and teach in front of their mentors and in front of the other teammates. They have to teach a topic. So it gives them that practice. So hopefully that helps. And yes, I'd be happy to help you as you curate that awesomeness. What other questions do we have?
We have again a question from the remote audience. Do you have a learning journey and the modules planned for the POs as well as for the Agile coaches?
Great question, because that's something the Scrum Masters ask all the time. They're like, no, my PO needs. Yeah. And they say it out of love. It's always out of love. We do have one. It is one that follows a similar path in terms of how long it is. It has a lot of focus around the network units that we have currently, less on the head office, because head office also has the product owner community of practice. So there's a lot of knowledge sharing that's going on there. We're doing more piecemeal when it comes to head office, more than that. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's mostly what we're doing right now. It's a very intensive one. It's more heavy on having external people in. And if you'll notice, one of the things you asked about the external versus internal, we did have originally a very heavy external here. We've moved it quite a bit into internal. So we would send our Agile coaches out, or in some cases, we'd have the Scrum Masters who went through the program come back in and teach some of these courses. So it's really great for them to get that and to also share that knowledge. So this actually cut our costs by about 66%. So it was huge, even during COVID. What other questions do we have? That felt like 7 seconds. What's interesting to me is I don't get to play music in here like I would when I do my trains. I usually do a big blowout at the end of it. So if there aren't any more questions, are we good on time or?
I think we are. Let's see what the clock says.
Oh, the clock was way over here.
Oh, we have
like
still 10 minutes left.
This was awesome. I really thank all of you for coming in here and discussing this. This was something that we all sort of were the people that I support, the product owner community of practice. They were a little hesitant to put it out there already without having really had a chance to do much more with it. But I thought this might be something that would be interesting to at least have something maybe where you all would be able to start with your own, and then maybe we can share that information together and help create something that works for so many more people. So thank you all. I will be remembering all your names because I think, wasn't there a Marcus? Wasn't there an Elizabeth and Anna, Wolfgang? I heard all of that. That was awesome. The rest of you are, I will simply refer to as my lovely colleagues. Thank you. Thank you.